Hey, welcome back to BIZ Talk TV. I'm your business host and guide, Michael Rager. All right, it's that time again. The great Leo Simpson. Leo, how are you today, my friend?
Very well. How about yourself?
I'm doing great. All right, so we got a pretty interesting topic today. The ticking time bomb of work-life balance.
Yep.
Come on. So why is the time bomb ticking, my friend?
It's ticking because we're committed to a pursuit that's in the context of insanity, and it's ready to go off. And I'll tell you why. So we've talked about this before, but this is a little more in depth. So work is a type of life, just like family is a type of life, friendship is a type of life, all those different things. And so to call it work-life balance, you're really trying to balance one thing. So how can you balance one thing? You can't. You need two particular opposing objects in order to do that. And the reason that I bring that up is it's communicating that balance is the wrong measure. And we've got to understand while family, business, in many instances have their intangibles, in order to understand if it's working, you've got to have a tangible measure to be able to look at it. You guys were talking about KPIs a little earlier, and this is a very important indicator such that it does fall into the context of a key performance indicator, but it becomes more of an intangible measure that you've got to give regard to like you're looking at a tangible measure. And that is, you've got to consider, is balance the right scale, the right measure, the right way to consider whether or not things are working well in our family and our business dynamic. So let's tease it out for a moment, just real quick. So let's suggest that life is the aspect of family that we're talking about, and work is the aspect of career, profession, etc. Well, think about it. Can you really balance these two? Well, in order to balance, you need equality on both sides. You need the same amount of time, energy, effort, resources in order for them to achieve equilibrium. That's not possible with these two because one, they're not designed to operate that way, nor are they in a position to where they can at any point in time be able to work together within the context of the balance. So now they become opposing forces, and as opposing forces, now you have this ticking time bomb where something is going to go lacking. Somebody's going to get frustrated. Somebody's going to say, you know what? Forget this family thing, or forget this relationship, forget these aspects. I'm going to just focus on my career. It works. And that's tragic. That right there does not just affect the family life, it affects the business life because it puts people in a position and on a trajectory to where they create this lack of confidence and trustworthiness with themselves and others that we'll talk about a little bit later.
Well, but why is work-life balance still encouraged, and why do people pursue it and coaches try to help you do it? One, but two is what should we be looking at besides that?
Okay, so hypnotic rhythm. And I say that because I've been thinking about Napoleon Hill in regard to this. Another way to describe hypnotic rhythm is habit. But hypnotic rhythm is, it's a rhythm that you're in without thinking about it. It's a rhythm that's been established as a result of a practice and a rehearsing over a long period of time. And the fact that we've been in a rhythm of work life balance, work life balance, work life balance, that's what we've been talking about. We get the concept, we understand what we're trying to achieve, but what happens is when we use improper measures, it disrupts the continuity of our subconscious and our conscious, and therefore causes us to pursue things in a way that we don't get the results. And if we keep pursuing the results, not getting the results, that's insanity. But we keep doing it because the people who are in positions of influence continue to tell us to pursue that without challenging really whether or not this measure or this approach actually works. So, what should we be looking at? First and foremost, we need to be honest with ourselves and say we're not achieving work life balance. this does not work. This does not happen. Matter of fact, I had a conversation with a guy who was 57, had been in the corporate environment for 35 plus years, and he said, I found myself for the first time thinking about my work life and my family life appropriately because you challenged me to think about it differently and told me what it should look like. So here's what it should look like. Family life and business life should be teammates, not opponents, which means get them off of the measure or off of the scale of balance and put them on the continuity structure of a circle so that they flow into and out of one another. They operate in the context of unity and they still have their independence, yet are able to be dependent. But what do we call that? We call that family, business, life mastery, to where there's a mastery in business, there's a mastery in family, but there's a mastery between the two, to where the keys to success, the master keys to achieving that particular pursuit is able to be predictable all the time.
I get it, and as a business owner and a family man, I got a son. It's more about quality time. I think we talked about this a couple of weeks ago. Business is way more quantity.
Yes.
Your family has to be more quality, and they weigh different, right? It's
Absolutely.
a pound of feathers and a pound of of iron. The amount is way different, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. And see, you talked about it briefly and touched on it, and that is that family life requires more of a quality of time than a quantity of time. And business life requires more of a quantity of time than a quality. And that's because one, there's source of life, but two, there's also the engagement of intellect and intimacy in the context of family life. There's relationship there that has an element of mutuality, whereas in business, it primarily receives. Yes, it does reciprocate, but it reciprocates based on what's receiving. Whatever is done in family, something can be given in family life, even if there's not a reciprocation. So the one directional impact and effect is so profound because there can be value given and received, but there's value given that can be a reception in and of itself. And see, here's one of the things. I was listening to somebody yesterday and they talked about how children will never be able to love their parents as much as their parents love them until, if for some reason a parent's health or body fails them in some way, and the children get to love those parents and take care of those parents the way that those parents took care of those children. And that's a picture of the depth of family. Now watch this. When a parent, just in that particular relationship, when a parent focuses on a child in the quality of time, the very uniqueness of making sure they have what they need, providing them the value and the growth that's necessary for them to be what they're capable of being, that child has the ability to reciprocate that, not necessarily directly to them, but in the context of the contribution in an exponential way that they make in life. And so when, just at the level of parenting, when parents really understand the value that they give to their children by making sure that the quality moments that they have, that they, I mean, really give them a depth of value and growth and encouragement and building just in those quality moments. Not every moment of the day, but just in the moments you have. It causes them to be a quality contributor in their lives beyond what they can learn in the classroom, whether they're homeschooled, private schooled, public schooled, or whatever the case may be. So when it comes down to it, we've got to have the right perspective about it, but understand we're using the right tools as well.
Awesome, awesome. Hey, we got to wrap this one up. This has been a good segment today, Leo. How do people get a hold of you?
Team30.com, and you can get to me in various other respects there.
All right. Well, man, I love it. I love it, Leo. It's awesome. Every week we get on, we have some great discussion. Work-life balance. It's a myth. So I'm Michael Rager, your business guide here on BIZ Talk TV on Now Media Television. We'll be back right after this.